Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. In this video I'm going to show you all the items I picked up from a local comic book shop and also some charity shops. So a local comic book shop that I love going to, I go to this shop maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and I mainly look for comic books myself, but occasionally look for everything else. And I'm going to show you all the stuff I picked up in this comic book shop. I'm not actually going to show you the last item I picked up. I'm going to save it for last. So yes, this comic book shop is very cool. It's a very old school comic book shop. They do things like Pokemon cards, Magic, the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. They do things like Warhammer model kits. They obviously have comics, old comics, a few new comics as well. And it's just filled with stuff. And so whenever I go here, I always try and find anything I like. And I'm on a bit of a Lord of the Rings kick at the moment. And so I picked up a few of these White Dwarf back issues. These are 50p each. And they contain some of the really cool, like Lord of the Rings models kits. And yeah, these are really nostalgic for me. I used to pick these up back in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, that sort of period. When I first got into like Warhammer, I was into, I think it was the 3rd generation of the game, and Warhammer 40k that is. And then they brought out Lord of the Rings, and I loved Lord of the Rings, but it was a bit expensive, as you can imagine. So I only had a few figures, and then recently, now that I'm an adult, I feel like I should go back and start buying up some of my favourite characters, which I've been doing. But yeah, these magazines were only 50p, and it's just pure nostalgia for me. All the really cool Ultramarines, and then like the Necrons. I remember wanting all this stuff. I used to love scenery when I was a kid. That was my favourite thing. But yeah, the Two Towers games. Yeah, 50p, I couldn't say no. And then in the shop, they had loads and loads of models, more models than you can ever imagine. 90% of their stuff is loose. So they do bags of stuff, and this was a bag cost, which is £7. It has a lot of the Yokai figures. I'm trying to make sure you can see it, because it's going to thing it. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there you go, the Yokai figures. Half of these figures are painted to a nice standard. The other half, not so much. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to do a bit of work on them, but there is basically about, 10 figures here? I wish there was a bit more better light in this room. And there you go. Yeah, so these were £7 for all these figures. There's actually an extra one which is broken, which I'm going to fix. But £7 for a whole like little army. If you were playing this game for the first time, just need a few hero characters and you pretty much got a whole game there you can play with like a friend. So for £7 I could not say no. Let's also talk about what else I picked up. They don't really do toys, that's their thing. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, it's going to be expensive. No, it was only £10. This is the Doctor Who, the Master with Sash and Stazer, is that what it's called? This is from the Deadly Assassin episode. It's basically when he regenerates and he like dies and becomes like a weird monster creature. In my honest opinion, these character options figures from Doctor Who are some of the best toys ever made. Doctor Who has had a long time been pretty poor when it comes to action figures for years. Back in the 80s and 90s, they had Daypole, made a few Daleks and stuff, and they were quite fun, but they were just like, they were missing characters. They looked pretty awful, to be honest. But yeah, when Character Options got the line, and they came back in 2005 with the Christopher Eccleston and the David Tennant era, they put out the classic line, and yeah, these figures are really cool. I honestly think these are going to be a future sort of collectible that people are going to love, because they're so accurate to the classic series. This is from like 1976, I think. 1976, yeah. And the Cyberman, and you have like the Ice Warrior, the robot, the mummy. Very, very cool. Yeah, whenever I see these now, I try to pick them up. They're cheap, and for £10, I'll count some nose of that. So, so far that's basically about £20 worth of stuff. They also threw in a box of top loaders, which you put your training cards in. So for £20, that wasn't too bad. And they also threw in the one figure I'm going to show you in a minute. But hold on. I picked up two things that I would never say I would ever pick up, ever. Sorry guys, but it's Funko Pops. 2 Funko Pops, Captain America and Iron Man. These are basically £4 each. I don't usually buy Funko Pops because the market is absolutely awful on them. You can basically, at £4, I'm not making a profit. But I wanted something to put on my shelf next to my comic books, and as I collect Marvel stuff, and in particular I love Silver Age Marvel, these would do very well. That's a really cool classic looking Iron Man right there, and Cap's one of my favourite characters, him and Spider-Man. So I've done it, guys. I bought Funko Pops. I can't believe I've done it. Can't believe it. But yeah, there's 2 Funko Pops there. I've got a Funko Pop of Scarlet Witch somewhere, so I'll go with that. But yeah, I don't do Funkos. You know me, I don't do Funkos. But like, I just love the designs on these characters anyway. When they first came out, they did Turtles. I think was the first license they got, and I absolutely loved them. I thought they're really cool. A bit gimmicky, but yeah, kind of cool to have displayed somewhere. And now obviously they're just everywhere. So I walked into a comic book shop, and basically they had, not a comic book shop, sorry. I walked into a charity shop, and they had in their glass cabinet vintage G1 Transformers, and I paid £30 for this lot. Did I pay too much? I think I probably did. Let's have a look and see what I got. This random figure here, he's basically missing like his claws and everything. He's like a little miniature character. I think he's 90s, not actually 80s. But yeah, he's probably worth like £3 or £4. So annoyingly, this really cool truck. I think he's one of the combiners ones. He's missing his back bit. Yeah, I paid too much for it, guys, to be honest. I just got a bit carried away. Seeing vintage Transformers in the charity shop, you never see them, and when you do, they're really broken. But he looks relatively okay. It's worth a gamble, because I thought, well, the one figure I found today, for example, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which I got from the comic book shop, makes up for the whole day, basically. And then this chap, I think he's one of these combiner ones. I didn't pay £17 for him, I paid like £10 for him. But yeah, he's got bits missing, and this kind of fading. It's very popular actually on this toy, it appears to be. I think his name's like Scattershot. But yeah, he's I think I just overpaid for this one. But yeah, it is what it is. And then finally, last but not least, was this one, which I actually kind of like. It's kind of like 2-headed dragon type thing. It comes with a tail. Got off the tail, and there's the head in there. Yeah, that's probably one I'm going to keep for now. I do occasionally keep Transformers. I'm not a big Transformer fan, but occasionally some of them I like, and I'll eventually start adding pieces to try and get this one complete. Or if I find pieces, I'll add it to it. I rarely find Transformers, to be honest. But yeah, that was lovely little thing. It's really cool, actually. I've really kind of fallen in love with this little figure. I haven't transformed him back into a robot yet, but I might do soon. But that was, I think altogether that was £30. I basically paid £5 for those two and £10 each for these. I basically started marking them up what I'm going to be selling them at a toy show. I'm not trying to get too much on them, just kind of get my money back on these free. And then if I can get money back on these free and then keep that one as a part of my collection, that's what I want to do. And then going back to the comic book shop, so I was rummaging through boxes they had of spare figures, like little models and Warhammer models. They basically, everything in the box is £1, and there was weird things in there. There was like some toy soldiers from the Airfix era, the 70s, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, but I don't really pick them up for that, especially not for £1 each. And then I saw this, and I could not believe it. And my first thought was, is it the modern version? But the reason why I definitely thought it was the vintage version was because its arm is missing. This is a vintage Star Wars toy. You know, if you know your vintage Star Wars toy, you know there's one toy in the line which is worth a hell of a lot of money, and its arm breaks off every time. Or should we say, her arm breaks off every time. And is it EV9D9? So yeah, this figure is a last 17 figure. It has like this little action at the back where its head moves. You can open its mouth. Get it to focus in. Yeah, so the sad thing about this figure is I've actually had to own this figure before. and I bought it at auction, and I paid a ridiculous amount of money. I paid about £1,000 for a job lot of figures and vehicles with weapons and last 17 figures. It was pretty much a whole set of last 17 figures, minus Yak Face, and the pop-up R2D2, which I should have done more research on because I was an idiot. Actually, wasn't a pop-up R2D2. It was a somebody faked one by taking a normal R2D2 and taking it and drilling a hole in the top. But there was a lightsaber, and the lightsaber sold for like 200 quid. I made my money back on it. I didn't make much profit on it. This is back years ago when I first started trading toys. But I've mainly wanted some stuff in my collection anyway. But this one was in there, and he had his arm, and I sent it to get graded. And I don't really grade much toys. I think I've only graded a handful myself. I usually only grade toys when they're the best of the best. And it came back and said actually his arm was snapped off, but they put blue tack in there and they kind of squeezed it back on, and I didn't notice it. But yeah, I was gutted. I sold it for a big amount of money. So to find one of these again, I was a bit curious. I think it's got to be modern, because the shop had a few modern toys figures like hanging about, and I thought his arm's broke, it must be vintage. So it was in a £1 box, so I picked it up, put on the till, and the guy was, yeah, £1, and I paid for it, and I can't believe it, a vintage last 17 figure for £1. Yeah, this will go online, and people are asking like £100 for one of these with missing the arm, and I'm not going to ask that much because that's stupid, but it will basically pay for this whole haul today, which is, in my opinion, is amazing. Just means I get all these cool toys for free, which means I can keep the Transformer for myself. I can maybe keep the Doctor Who figures. The model kits will be mine as well. I might sell these other Transformers at toy shows in the future if I can. But yeah, what a great little find. Yeah, I'm so grateful to find it. It's such a cool little figure. Part of me wishes I could keep it in my collection, but I'm trying to thin out all my toys and basically just go for stuff I really, really love. And this figure is cool, but unfortunately it doesn't fall into that category, especially considering how much money I can unfortunately going to get for it. So yeah, that's a really cool find. You rarely find vintage Star Wars in the wild. That's not some of the most common figures. So to find a last 17 figure, yeah, great. I did ask, did you have any more toys? And they were like, oh no, not really. I said to them, what do you do with your toys? He said, well, we just put them out as quick as we can and get rid of them. We don't really collect toys, so we don't really sell toys either. But yeah, I wish they would actually just give me, I should have given my business card. I said, look, could you hold back any toys you do have, and I'll pay you a good amount of money for them. Yeah, guys, that's it. Just a little short video. I'm hoping to make another video before Christmas. I'm going to another toy fair. I'm going to the Shepton Mallet toy fair on, I want to say it's the 14th or 12th of December, but I need to double check that. I'll be there. Not sure if I'll be selling yet. I don't think there's any stalls left. I think it's sold out, so I might not be selling. I might just be helping my dad. I will be buying. Anyway, guys, please leave a like, please leave a comment. I appreciate every subscription. Thank you very much, and as always, guys, happy hunting, stay safe.